Are you real? Am I? Each of us, at least once in our lives, thought about this question. So, it is not surprising that The Matrix of the Wachowski sisters has become so iconic. And since the franchise is not just a cool film with epic fights, but a confusing puzzle full of references, many fan theories appeared. How does The Matrix work? Is Neo really the one? What does the trilogy have to do with transgender people? And how did the machines manage to enslave humanity? The franchise universe expanded with the release of the Animatrix trilogy, the anime cartoon series, games, and comics. Viewers were able to understand the meaning of what was happening. We, at About Movies, put puzzle pieces together, and today we will try to understand the chronology of events in the Matrix universe from the very beginning of the appearance of machines to the final of the third film. Ready? Then we connect to the system.
No problem. Free my mind. Free my mind. No problem. Right.
The idea of the Matrix is not new. Since ancient times, humankind has questioned what is happening around us. Several thousand years ago, the same Plato in the allegory of the cave supposed that everything we saw was unreal. Another thinker, René Descartes, argued that nothing really existed except our consciousness, and he believed in the existence of such a being that makes humanity believe in the reality of the physical world. He wrote about an evil genius, an extremely powerful one, who strove to deceive. Immanuel Kant supported some of those ideas. We don't know whether the Wachowski sisters read the works of philosophers, but they are familiar with Jean Baudrillard's work Simulacra and Simulation. Actors received those books, so everyone better understands the script's meaning. In addition, throughout the film, we see references to the source. So, at the very beginning, Neo hides the disc in Baudrillard's book. The first film, according to Lily Wachowski, is based on the idea of transgender equality and anger at the perception of gender roles in the society of that time. Trans people can see those films through the lens of my transness and their transness. They're able to go, oh my god, these films were such an important part of my coming out in my own journey. I'm extraordinarily grateful that I could offer that to people. The result is a lot of subtext baked into the franchise about the spectrum of gender and the trans experience. But where did The Matrix come from? At the beginning of the 21st century, humanity made a breakthrough in technology and created artificial intelligence. It led to the emergence of intelligent machines that solved most everyday problems, from washing dishes to writing complex programs. Over time, machines have mastered many specialties. Thanks to that, a person has freed up time for rest, reflection, and creativity. But no one takes history into account, and probably no one has read the legends about Atlantis. Therefore, behind the art and doing nothing, people began to imagine themselves as gods and treat robots like slaves. It gave rise to a sharp social inequality between humans and machines, which by that time already felt and thought like people because they created their own kind. And so, in 2090, a conflict occurred. One of the intelligent robots, who accidentally heard that they wanted to write it off, was so indignant or scared that it killed the master. At the trial, it tried to justify itself by saying it was self-defense and a way to save its life, but the court did not support the idea. It and the robots of that series were destroyed. Injustice led to rebellion. The demonstrations began to show both machines and those few people who defended their rights and demanded that machines be recognized as part of society. The government was so afraid of the uprising that they staged a massacre, and as a result, most machines died. The few that remained were forced to seek refuge. In the end, they created the city, calling it 01. At first, the machines did not want conflict with their creators, and were looking for a way to build relationships. In parallel, they created new cheap and efficient equipment, which they sold to humanity. It created a technological imbalance in the market, and the planet's economy became dependent on the city of machines. Frightened by the global economic crisis, the top of humanity again took an ugly step. It introduced a trade embargo and organized a complete blockade of the city. In response, the machines sent ambassadors to the UN General Assembly to find a compromise. However, the negotiations failed. They killed ambassadors and dropped an atomic bomb on the city of machines. At this moment, the machines ran out of patience and began to fight with humanity. Initially, humans found a way to weaken the robots by shutting off the solar energy they fed on. To do this, people released nanomachines into the atmosphere, creating an impenetrable layer of artificial clouds. But the robots were not far behind. They created a new type of robot powered by nuclear fusion. Therefore, the weak attempts of people to stop the war of machines failed, and these same machines began to take over. The higher representatives of humanity understood that they were losing this war, and a weak attempt to compromise ended in failure. At a general meeting between representatives of robots and the leaders of mankind, an act of surrender was adopted by the latters. But robots no longer wanted to share the world with humans. Therefore, they took the opportunity, killed the leaders, and dropped a nuclear bomb on New York. From that moment, the whole planet belonged to machines. What about the rest of humanity? During the experiments, the robots understand that a person is a good fuel for machines since they generate energy. So, they create a power plant with life support capsules inside which extract energy from human bodies. In fact, people have become ordinary batteries for superintelligent gadgets. But after all, people are mortal, and therefore machines create a mechanism for the artificial reproduction of humans. After a while, machines understand that they can use another human property, creativity, to improve their work. But they can achieve it only by maintaining the brain activity of people. So, it was decided to create a virtual reality, a multiplayer game that imitates real life. There is a kind of symbiosis between robots and humans. They created a program called Architect to develop such a reality. A difficult task to create a world so realistic that all people connected to the network would believe in it fell to machines. The first step is always troublesome, as in the second one too. The machine was forced to create various beta versions and try them out, not understanding the nuances of human psychology. Thus, the heavenly matrix became a utopia, an ideal that humanity suddenly abandoned. The architect decided it was all about the people's imperfections and added a handful of nightmares, vices, and fears of people to the second matrix. Therefore, in it, you can meet all sorts of mythical creatures that we all know. But this simulation didn't work either. In general, it is easy to guess that in the image of the architect, the wachowskis laid biblical references. It is the god of artificial intelligence, which operates in two worlds at once, the real and the virtual. Other heroes also have mythical references. So, Morpheus is a reference to the god of dreams or deceit. Trinity is to the Christian Trinity, and Neo is the newest version of Jesus Christ, i.e., Second Coming. Zion reminds us of the Zionists and the exodus of the Jews from Egypt, and these cyclical reboots can be attributed to the idea of rebirth in Hinduism. But let's get back to the plot. Having not found a solution, the architect creates an anti-bug program with the function of foresight, the Oracle, whose mission is to reveal the secrets of the human psyche. The Oracle finds a reason. The rejection of previous versions was due to the lack of people's ability to choose. Therefore, by analyzing his mistakes, the architect creates the illusion of choice in the simulation, and 99% of people accept the new matrix. The background was the world of the late 20th century, in which civilization was on the rise of its development but had not yet begun to produce high-level technologies. People, programs that control the operation of the matrix, and programs exiled from beta versions inhabit the metropolis called Mega City. The latter managed to save themselves from erasure on the main server and hide between the lines of the new simulation code. But the matrix wasn't perfect either. There is the same 1% of people who feel something is wrong with the world and intuitively try to escape from it. Some manage to do it on their own, for example, in this case of one professional runner who could wake up for a few moments while running. Those who got out are trying to get other people out of the matrix too. They created agents to deal with such anomalous cases. They watch over potential anomalous units and fix other anomalies in the matrix caused by bugs in the system. Note that the role of agents is not to eliminate people disconnected from the matrix. They allow them to run from the chase, thereby accumulating their existence within the same area. Over time, many bugs accumulate in the system, and the matrix begins to fail. It happens approximately once every 100 years, when the massive errors becomes critical. A reboot is needed to correct the situation. Otherwise, a fatal system error will occur that will demolish the matrix and kill all of humanity connected to it. And at the same time, it will destroy robots that feed on people. At this point, a problem arises. If the matrix requires 100% acceptance for the reload, then what should it do with the 1% of people, given that billions are connected to the system? The architect comes up with a very sophisticated plan. It creates a city in the real world called Zion, which becomes a refuge for all anomalies. But before the start of the reboot, it sends robots to destroy the city with its inhabitants. It must kill the same anomalies that were connected at the time of the attack and remain in the Matrix by erasing its code. But it's not so easy. You needed to deliver the anomaly code to the main server, or, as it's also called, the source. How to do it in the simulation? Of course, with the help of the game. That is why a quest is invented. It has a task, a main character, and an obstacle course. We are sure you guessed it. The architect creates a sub-program, a chosen path, the main component of which is the prime program. It collects an anomalous code and embeds itself in one of the anomalies. The sub-program is designed to lead this person to the goal, to the source, instilling the importance of his mission. The Oracle helps. She uses psychological influence and spreads the legend about the One, which should free people from slavery and end the war with machines. Obviously, in reality, the destruction of the Matrix will not bring any benefit. As you remember, people closed the sun to fight the robots and make the planet uninhabitable. The confrontation between people and robots is not for destroying one of the parties, but for sake of control over the Matrix. The critical task with the anomalous code is destroyed when the One enters the source, and the Matrix gets 100% acceptance among the population and quietly reboots. But the One has another task. It must start a new cycle. To do this, he chooses 23 people who are released from the Matrix into the real world. These people are called upon to rebuild Zion and attract new anomalies there, convincing them that this is the only place in the world where they can hide from the machines. And so, cycle after cycle, the Matrix is rebooted. One day after the 5th reboot, among the freed is a man named Jeffrey, who manages to grow ears of wheat. But the joy was short-lived. The machines discovered the crops and destroyed them, and the farmers. This tragedy was named the Battle of the Wheat Fields, in honor of which the inhabitants of Zion had a tradition of baking bread twice a year. This tradition was passed down through the generations, both among children born naturally and among children disconnected from the Matrix. In this story, it is important to understand one point. It is dangerous to disconnect adults from the Matrix, since not all adults can accept reality and go crazy. One of the children released from the Matrix was Morpheus. His life coincided with the end of the 6th reboot cycle, approximately in the 2670th year, and therefore his role in the story became decisive. After becoming the captain of the ship Nebuchadnezzar, he meets the Oracle, who predicts that Morpheus is destined to find the One who will defeat the machines. This prophecy took possession of him so much that it became an obsession. By the way, there's a theory that Morpheus is also a program that, like the Oracle and agents, is designed to push Neo to fulfill his mission. Do you think it's possible? Write your opinion in the comments. The first stage was the search for the most gifted hackers, whom Morpheus takes in turn to the Oracle so that she would say if the One is among them. From these talented hackers, Morpheus creates a team. Among them is a girl named Trinity, who also needs to pass an interview with the Oracle. It turns out that Trinity has a special role too. The Oracle predicted that she would fall in love with the One. From that moment on, the girl shares Morpheus' obsession with finding him. Agents don't waste time either, and they hire 4 detectives. But we did not just mention that adults who were released from the Matrix can go crazy, because the first detective committed suicide, the second disappeared, and the third went crazy. A 4th detective named Ash must find Trinity and get to the One with her help, and he succeeds thanks to an encrypted message based on the fairy tale Alice in Wonderland. They arrange to meet on the train, but the agents are right there, and a short showdown ends with the detective's death at the hands of Trinity, who eventually manages to escape.
You didn't make it, Mr. Ash.
It is the year 2699, and the Matrix is gearing up for its 6th reboot cycle, and the 6th prime program becomes Thomas Anderson, who is called Neo. Thomas is an ordinary hacker. During the day, he develops software at Metacortex and sells stolen software in his free time. Like other anomalies, Thomas feels that this world is not what it seems at first glance, but cannot explain what is happening. To find out, he hunts for the mysterious Morpheus, who, by this time, has become a legend among hackers. In parallel, the crew of the ship Nebuchadnezzar finds out that he may be the One and sends Trinity to establish contact with him so that agents do not get to him first. In her Carol-style message, Neo learns that he must follow the White Rabbit, and soon he meets a girl with a rabbit tattoo on her shoulder, who leads him to the club where Trinity is. She warns Neo of the danger and says that Morpheus will definitely contact him. The story is gaining momentum. Treacherous agents also learn about Anderson and come to him at work to get acquainted. Morpheus is just in time to warn Neo and help him escape from them. But the fear of heights forces the future of the One to surrender to the agents. In the interrogation room, firstly, Smith tries to play the good cop by offering Neo to help them catch Morpheus. After a definite answer, the agent scares our hero and installs a bug. The situation with the bug is a confirmation that the agent's main goal is only to scare people. Firstly, the bug must be placed in a real body. Secondly, the agents already have an embedded agent, about whom we will learn later, so it doesn't make sense. It seems that you've been living two lives. In one life, you're Thomas A. Anderson, program writer for a respectable software company, says Smith. The other life is lived in computers, where you go by the hacker alias Neo and are guilty of virtually every computer crime we have a law for.
One of these lives has a future, and one of them does not.
The bottom line is that robots need Neo precisely in the role of a hacker and a rebel. That's why their actions provoke him to rebel in the future. After a not-too-pleasant acquaintance, we see Neo, who wakes up in his room thinking that it is a terrible dream. But Trinity finds him again, helps him get out of the bug, and takes him to Morpheus. Next comes the famous choice scene.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
After Neo chooses the right color pill, he wakes up in the real world. He is discovered by a nanny robot who urges him to track anomalies and kill them. The defective battery, i.e. Neo, is sent to a separate location for destruction, but the team rescues him. Aboard the Nebuchadnezzar, new friends help the would-be the one adjust to the real world. Afterwards, Morpheus teaches the newcomer to fly and improve his combat abilities. The main thing remains: to take Neo to the Oracle so that Morpheus's hopes are confirmed there. But this time, the Oracle decides to play her own game and go against the script. The program wants Neo to have free will, and therefore, she does not directly tell our hero that he is the one, but allows him to decide for himself and believe in his destiny. The only clue from the Oracle is the information that Morpheus is destined to die, but Neo can change fate if he sacrifices himself. Note, when Neo comes to Pythia, the door opens immediately. It is a hint that all the actions of the Resistance are calculated and staged by machines to the second. This is also noticeable in this scene.
Would you still have broken it if I hadn't said anything?
Here is another hint that she staged all the characters' actions. After meeting with Pythia, the team tries to return to the real world, but falls into a trap set by agents. Neo guesses this, feeling a sense of
Deja vu.
but it's too late. The windows are walled up, and the only way to get out of the Matrix is blocked. You can return to the real world only with the help of a landline phone, but even here, there's a problem. The wires are cut off. After an epic fight, Morpheus was captured by agents, and the team's attempt to escape through another exit point failed. They were betrayed. That was done by one of the team members, Cypher, who exchanged friends for a new life in the Matrix as a successful actor. He made a deal with Agent Smith, to whom he promised Morpheus. After Cypher kills the team members one by one, pulling out the connection cable, it's Trinity's turn. It turns out that the traitor is in love with the girl and wants to turn Neo off to prove that he is not the one. But Cypher is neutralized by Tank, who turns out to be alive. Afterwards, he pulls Trinity and Neo out of the Matrix. Meanwhile, the agents are torturing Morpheus, trying to find out the connection code to the central computer, realizing that the rebel cause is in danger. Trinity and Neo first decide to remove the captain so that he does not reveal the codes, but the One remembers the Oracle's prediction, and they set out to rescue him. Meanwhile, we learn that Agent Smith wants to get a code for himself to get out of the Matrix, which limits him to the human body.
I must get out of here. I must get free.
Smith is not a standard program. He was able to go beyond the conditions set for any program. Moreover, his upgrade grows in direct proportion to Neo's abilities. Therefore, it is reasonable to believe that the programs were created in such a way as to balance the Prime program. We will see it next. After an epic battle between the team and agents, Morpheus and Trinity managed to free themselves. The remarkable fight with Agent Smith in flight awaited Neo. While there is a showdown between them, the Nebuchadnezzar is attacked by robots to kill the entire team. The only way to turn them off is an electromagnetic pulse that will destroy all electronics, along with Neo, who is connected to the Matrix. Therefore, he hurries to the exit point of the simulation, but then Smith is waiting for him, who empties the clip into Neo. Neo is dying. Trinity cannot believe this outcome as she loves him, and the Oracle predicted her love for the One. Saying goodbye, she kisses the main character, and then a miracle happens, like in Sleeping Beauty. The kiss turns out to be healing. Neo gains faith in his destiny and rejects death. He resurrects in the Matrix with new tricks, self-confidence, and a desire to kick Smith's ass. Now, Neo can see the simulation code. It allows him to kill Smith. After that, he promises the machines that he will tell humanity the truth and show them the real world. And he proceeds to fulfill the promise. He, like Morpheus earlier, frees people from that 1% of anomalies. One of them was a schoolboy called Kid. He, like others, felt that something was wrong with this world. From time to time, he was tormented by the same dream. In it, Kid fell from a tall building. Boy, of course, was being tracked by agents who did not hesitate to visit him at school. And at the same time, Neo contacted the guy who warned him of the danger. The chase for Kid ends unexpectedly. Being trapped on the school roof, the guy decides to jump from it, just like in his dream. He lands on the peaks of the fence, but he doesn't die. Using the autosuggestion, Kid frees himself and wakes up in the real world. It is important to understand that the cycle did not stop with Neo's new powers. Half a year after Neo defeated Smith, the machines continued to operate according to the programmed scenario. As usual, Zion, which, as you remember, must be destroyed by the end of each cycle, stands in their path. Robots dig wells right above the city to get to it. The ship Osiris crew finds out about this. An attempt to warn the others almost fails. The robots notice and destroy the ship. At the last moment, the captain's assistant plunges into the Matrix and sends a message intercepted by another ship, the Logos. The Logos crew, under the command of Captain Niobe, becomes convinced that the information is truthful and must protect the city, gathering the other ships, Captain and Zion. Only Morpheus believes that the only one who can stop the machines and restore peace to the world is Neo.
I do not believe it to be a matter of hope, Counselor. It is simply a matter of time.
But just in case, he decides to visit the Oracle. Unfortunately, the soothsayer has disappeared since their last meeting. The team was met with only an empty flat. During the captain's meeting, agents find them, and Neo takes the hit himself to stop them while the others leave. During the chase, Niobe is rescued from the agent by the Keymaker. This program can create shortcuts that help you quickly get to any place in the Matrix. While Niobe and his team return to Zion, the Keymaker is caught by Merovingian, aka Frenchman, one of the oldest programs created to regulate people's behavior and collect information. After adding choice illusion to the simulation, the program was outdated and was about to be deleted. But the cunning Merovingian managed to avoid destruction and hide in the final assembly of the Matrix. There, he began to trade in information and harbor the so-called exiles, programs that, like him, are sentenced to be removed and are hiding from the system. Neo continues his search for the Oracle. An Oracle Protector program called Seraph helps set up a meeting with her. The Oracle informs Neo that he must find the source and that the Keymaker will help him. Everything would be fine, but the Keymaker is the hostage of the Merovingian. In addition, the suddenly resurrected Agent Smith begins to cause problems for the Chosen One. He did not just die, but received a new feature, the ability to turn other programs and people's avatars into their copies. In an attempt to destroy the agent, Neo freed him by rewriting his code, and Smith has a new goal, to gain control over the machines and destroy the humanity he hates. Copies of Agent Smith begin to take over the Matrix step by step. Meanwhile, the Zion Council is trying to find some news about Neo, on whom they have their last hopes, and for this, they need to find Nebuchadnezzar. Two captains become volunteers, Soren from the Vigilant ship and Niobe, already familiar to us. Neo, Morpheus, and Trinity try to talk the Merovingian into releasing the Keymaker. He does not agree, but the Frenchman's wife, Persephone, shows where the hostage is. It does not do without an epic fight which smoothly turns into an epic chase. First, Morpheus and the Keymakers are chased by the twins, who are also program exiles, and after that, agents replace them. Nebuchadnezzar's operator contacts Niobe to help the team. The captain of the Logos connects to the Matrix and manages to save Morpheus and the Keymaker. In gratitude for his release, the Keymaker tells where the source is, and of course, getting to him will not be easy. The source is located in one of the city's skyscrapers on the floor where elevators do not go, but it is protected by a system that destroys the entire building if an unforeseen intrusion occurs. There's only one way to turn off the system, to cut off its power supply. To do this, the team must destroy the entire power plant and then the emergency power system of the building. And after that, Neo will have 5 minutes to open the secret door with a special key. Vigilant and Logos crews help Neo. Each of them will have its own goal. Niobe and his team are responsible for the destruction of the power plant, and Vigilante's crew is responsible for shutting down the emergency power system. Neo, Morpheus, and the Keymaker attempt to break into the building, but Neo does not allow Trinity to participate in the operation as he is afraid of his dream in which his beloved dies. Everything gets out of hand when agents led by Smith intervene, and the Vigilant is attacked by hunter machines that destroy the ship and crew. Trinity has no choice but to take on the task of shutting down the emergency power system. There, she runs into agents who are trying to stop her. After the explosion on the power plant, Niobe is contacted by the Oracle and offers a meeting where she warns her that she will have to make a choice: to help Neo or not. At the same time, she asks her to make the right decision, implying Neo's loyalty. Afterwards, Niobe in the Matrix is attacked by Smith, but she manages to escape. After returning to the real world, she realizes that the Logos is in danger since the Sentinels pursued it. To fight them off, the pilot turns on the electromagnetic gun. The crew manages to kill them, but their ship is also turned off. Meanwhile, the Keymaker is wounded by Smith, but Neo still manages to complete the plan and get through the Source's secret door. The Architect is waiting for him there.
Hello, Neo.
Part of the meaning of the whole story is revealed there. The Architect tells Neo about the main program and the anomaly codes inside it, but at the same time he admits Neo is different from his predecessors because he is in love with Trinity. And so he gives Neo a choice: reboot the Matrix and save people, or refuse and save his beloved. But then all of humanity will perish. And Neo, with his stubbornness, violates the path destined for him. He abandons the standard game scheme, which is in keeping with his spirit of controversy. While Neo is talking to the Architect, the machines attack Zion. The captains team up to fight back with volleys of EMP cannons, but the insidious Smith manages to capture the body of one of the team members, Bane. And during the battle, the guns work before the fighters have time to take up positions. This disabled the rest of the ships. In the end, machines kill everyone, and Bane loses consciousness and finds himself aboard the Mjolnir ship under the command of Captain Roland. Trinity isn't doing so well either. Neo's dream comes into reality, so she is mortally wounded during the fight. But her lover manages to save Trinity. With the help of his abilities, he takes out a bullet and starts the heart. Sentinels also attack the ship Nebuchadnezzar and destroy it. The crew manages to escape, but the robots are chasing them. Imminent death opens up new opportunities for Neo. Now he feels the energy of machines, and with the help of thought power, he manages to neutralize the hunters. But the load is so high that he passes out and wakes up in the Matrix. He meets a program, a girl at the mysterious underground station, Mobile Avenue. Meanwhile, the Nebuchadnezzar's crew rescues the Mjolnir ship with a traitor, where Morpheus is trying to figure out where Neo has gone. To find him, he and Trinity travel to the Matrix. They meet the Oracle, who tells them Neo is stuck between the real and the virtual worlds. It turns out that people created by machines have one feature: they can connect to the Matrix wirelessly, such as a Wi-Fi method. But before getting there, consciousness passes through a gateway, which is monitored by the Explorer program. Merovingian transports programs exiles to the Matrix in this way. There, Neo meets Ramachandra, one of the programs that ended up in the airlock to save her daughter, the Sati program. It was created from the love of two programs. Yes, this happens too, and therefore has no purpose and is subject to erasure. Ramachandra made a deal with a Frenchman to help smuggle Sati into the Matrix and rescue her. Realizing that the One is in front of him, the conductor does not let him into the crossing channel and locks him at the station. Only a direct threat from Morpheus and Trinity to the Frenchman makes the latter let Neo go. Neo is trying to figure everything out and goes to the Oracle again. She reveals to him another secret of the Matrix. She and the Architect are two parts of one whole. She was created as the opposite of the Architect, to maintain balance within the Matrix and its existence. Note that this is precisely her role as a program, to upset the balance of the system, which helps it stay afloat.
Bingo.
Over time, the Oracle breaks the system more and begins to issue limited admin rights to random people, including allowing them to exit the Matrix. It forced the Architect to create a legend about the One. Neo and Smith are also two sides of the same coin, parts of the same whole. The Oracle is attacked by Smith, who absorbs her and the Ramachandra family along with Sati. The takeover of the Pythia provides a new opportunity for Smith. to predict the future. In the real world, Neo sees a vision of a city of machines, and the Mjolnir crew, meanwhile, rescues the rest of the Logos crew. Deciding to fulfill his destiny, Neo goes to the source and asks the captains to lend him a ship. Niobe, who remembers Oracle's request, agrees to it. Trinity refuses to let Neo go alone and goes with him. They are powered by Mjolnir and fly away, but an unpleasant surprise awaits them on the ship in the form of Smith, who has taken possession of Bane's bodies. He tries to kill them but only succeeds in blinding Neo. But the One is cool even without vision, and thanks to its ability to feel the machine's energy, he kills Bane. Meanwhile, the battle with the machines is taking place in Zion, and the Mjolnir, with those remaining on board, rushes to their aid. People plan to enter the city through the airlock and cut down the Sentinels using EMF. Those who remained in the city continue to fight the machines and fire on the drilling rigs. But this is not enough. Fortunately, the plan of the Mjolnir crew works. With the help of EMF, they destroyed Zion's vehicles and equipment in the affected area. But some robots are already followed by others who manage to get to Zion. When Trinity and Neo make it to the machine city, Neo uses his new powers to fend off the guards. Now, the Logos fails after the pursuit, and even though Trinity manages to launch it a moment before the crash, the ship suffers a hard landing. As a result, Trinity dies, and Neo goes to the main boss, an artificial intelligence called Deus Ex Machina. Negotiations take place there. Neo tells him about Smith's intentions to take possession of the machines and kill all the people. Therefore, he offers a deal. He will destroy Smith, and the machines agree to a truce with the people. Big Boss agrees and connects Neo to the Matrix, where Smith manages to clone himself on an industrial scale. In the Matrix, a fight between Smith and Neo begins. The agent is confident that he will win. After all, thanks to the Oracle's power, he already saw this in the future. So Neo lets his opponent defeat him. Smith absorbs him, but does not even realize that he has been fooled because Neo is connected to the source. And this means that Smith's code gets to the main server, where it is erased. Smith's clones disappear from the Matrix, freeing people and programs. Deus Ex, as a world machine, fulfills the promise to withdraw the robots from Zion. Neo is taken into the bowels of the City of Machines, and the Matrix reboots. The next, 7th cycle, begins. But the rules have changed. Now the machines will not prevent people from being released from the Matrix if they want it. At the end of the third part, we see a beautiful dawn created by Sadi over the city in the Mega City Matrix, which marks a new beginning. The classic trilogy is substantiated and logical. It made a breakthrough in the industry's standard approach to storytelling. There is no eternal aspiration of mankind or a single person to a brighter future. And if you figure it out, we won't see a happy ending here. The apocalypse happened, and people fell into slavery to their creations, but Neo's act opened to humanity not only the possibility of choice, but set before them a difficult task. Will they be able to give up the blessings of the Matrix and blind, blissful existence in favor of reality? Not surprisingly, over the years of the franchise's existence, fans have created dozens of theories. Some of them are completely insane. The other part, on the contrary, seems very logical and justified. We've already talked about some of the most interesting theories before. Click on the video on your screen to find more different interpretations of the Matrix plot. Who knows, maybe that's what the Wachowskis had in mind when they wrote the script. Follow the link and watch. Also, don't forget to like this video. About Movies was with you. Bye-bye.